And there we're back. Thanks for sticking around, folks. All right, let's make sure we are recording. We are. Fantastic. This is a chocolate shoot. I want to show you the setup before we get into it a little bit. While we're doing that, I need to start Lightroom. Really, Lightroom? Seriously? Wow. All right, there we go. And here we go. We're going to show you the set. Excuse my jerky little camera here. And if this is going to do it, I think it will. You can see it over there. Let me explain the lighting. I haven't gone too far on it yet. Back here, back there is a ProPhoto 300 at 150 watt seconds through a sheet of plexiglass for a diffuser. It's bare strobe back there. We're using the plexi for the diffuser. We've got a bounce card over. I just set it there. I haven't even messed with the bounce card. We've got a black card behind it to give it a little pump if we need it. And I've got a speed light with a little softbox on it up there, little round softbox for a kicker if we need the kicker. I'm shooting it on an old-time radio, and down here I've got a white card sitting on the ledge of the radio, bouncing some light up into the old dials and things. And I wanted to get those dials and things in the shot. So the way we're going to do this, I'll show you here. Bring this up to like this. And we're going to bring the Lightroom up to about there so I can see both. Let me see if it's still working. Or if I have to connect it again. Probably I have to connect it again, but we'll see anyway here.
Isn't that the end where you put the match? Light the fuse.
Back to tethering here. Let's see if the tether's working. All right, so what I'll do then is I'll flip over from here to share the Lightroom with you all. So you should be seeing the Lightroom at this point. So that way we can see what's happening here. This is the image we're obviously working on here. And as you can see, the light nice and soft from this side, but the angle is kind of boring. Very boring. So we're going to kind of spruce up the angle here. So let's go back to the other share, which is, oh, we just stopped sharing is what we do. And then you can see what's happening on the camera. I'm going to lower the camera quite a bit. I'll lower the tripod here. So I can come as oblique to this cake as possible. I want to come straight across at it. I don't know if you can see me or not. Move this down. Yeah, you can see the camera there. Let's take a look at the screen here. Got a little bit better. It's a little bit crooked. Can't have that. Can't have it be crooked. And as much as I love those knobs, I think I'm going to have to lose the knobs and get up a little bit closer to this cake. Just go for the go for this thing right here. Let me do that real quick. I'll just leave it on Lightroom there. Oh my. Oh my. There we go. This one. Here we go. That looks a little bit better. I'm just not sure I'm seeing enough of the cake now. I may have to come up a little bit. And it's just darn crooked too. Up to about here. Come down on that cake. I think that might be the ticket. I'm liking this a bit better. All right. If anybody has a question, just kill your mute button and pop in, guys.
Hi, Don.
Hi,
I've got a
Sam.
question.
Sure.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a question about the plexi.
Uh-huh.
How often do you shoot through that, and is it specific for food photography?
Oh, it's not specific for food photography for me, but you can see the size of it there. It's about, I think, 2.5 by 4. So, you know, it kind of, the size of it sort of renders it for tabletop. And I use it a lot. I use it almost exclusively when I'm shooting tabletop. So I have scrims as well, but I do like this. I do like the way the light plays with the plexiglass, and it also gives me something very, very firm to work with. So my light's very high over here. What I'm thinking about doing is bringing it down just above cake height, and also moving it in to get a little bit more of a hot spot on that plexi, which will give me a little bit of modeling to the highlight on the cake. Tilt it down so it's facing that way. So I've got this highlight dead center on it. I'm not going to change exposure. I just moved it a little bit, and I think it was a little dark anyway. There we go. Let's check this out. All right, see? Yeah, that's a little cleaner. See how bright this is back here?
Yes.
It really bothers me. I don't like that. I'm going to have to knock that out with something here.
Do you think the Plex acts the same as a scrim, for instance? Would it affect the shot by 2 stops?
No, it's pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's actually pretty much the same, yeah. The scrim knocks about 2 stops, and the plexi knocks about 2 stops.
All right.
So they're pretty close. They're the same. Nothing on that cake's going to reflect color. So I'm going to.
Don?
Yeah.
Why don't you just feather the light, turn it a little bit towards so it doesn't shine directly, but shines more towards camera?
Well, it'll still light up. You can see.
Oh, it lights up pretty well, huh?
The light goes all the way down to here. Yeah. We switch back. Oh my. What happened to my switching thing? Okay. The light comes all the way down to the surface. You see that, Tammy?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's on purpose. I want it to come down so it sweeps all the way across. But I can do it 2 ways. I can put this little guy here, back here. See, it doesn't really, at this point, it's really not affecting the cake. But it's really,
okay, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
I can do that, or I can put it in front. I think I'm going to put it in back, although I'm really wondering what I'm going to put it in back with. Or maybe I'll get one of those other ones. I know what I'll do. Got to go back over here, grab another card. I grabbed 2 while I was back there because, hey, plan ahead, right? So I'm going to take one of these cards and a C-clamp, or an A-clamp. one of these, and I'm going to clamp it to the stand I have back here. Put some light in front of that. Put some block in front of that. I prefer to put the flags behind the plexi because then they don't put any color onto my object. Take another look here. Okay, so that's getting a little bit darker back there. A little bit. Let's bring it up just a bit. Move the light back just a little. And do another test. I think that's looking a lot better. That big scratch, I'll just touch that out. That's looking a lot better. Now you see how the cake stands out from that background where it didn't when the background was so bright? Now the question is, why is that not lining up? I'm lining it up in the camera as best I can here. Man, I miss my camera stand. There it is. My camera is not straight onto the cake. That's why I'm finding it here. I loved my camera stand. Why I got rid of it, I'll never know. Never figure that one out. All right.
Okay, I guess I'll be the one to ask what's the difference between a camera stand and your tripod?
Well, the stand comes straight up off the floor, so it doesn't have a wide triangle footprint. Number one. Number two, it's got guides on it, so I can pull a string from the center of the. I suppose I could do it here, but there's no center under my camera. Let me go back to me here. There's no center under my camera right here where I can pull a string. I can hold one, I guess, but with the camera stand, I've got a little eyelet thing there. I can pull the string right out to the center of that cake and then line the camera up exactly. Because if I'm not exactly in front of that radio and that cake, there's nothing I can do to fix the skewing. If I'm off a little bit and I try to fix the top horizon, bottom horizon is going to go out. If I fix the bottom, the top one's going to go out because I'm coming at an angle to it. But now, well, I don't think I'm there yet. The other thing is, with a camera stand, you have a shaft that goes across, and it's usually a fluid drive, so you can just twist it and move the camera laterally without trying to scrape a tripod across the floor. It's a lot more solid piece of equipment, I guess would be the best way to say it.
Okay, I think I get it. I'll have to look it up online and see what it actually looks like.
Okay.
Hey, Don, would a geared head do the same thing?
The geared head won't go sideways. You know, like in video when you have rails? Think of a camera stand as having a rail for your camera. It's a single one, but it's a good one, okay? I think we're pretty close here. I want to get a little more in the picture than I have to use because I want to crop it. Let's see here. There we go.
If you get one,
Maybe.
get one with wheels.
They're on wheels, and then what you do is mine weighed 180 pounds, and I had a little one. The big one at the studio we had weighed 500 pounds. And so when you push the wheels up, or down, you push this lever down, it pushed the wheels up, and you could roll it around fairly easily. And then when you took the damper off and you let the wheels go off and it clamped down with the rubber, that thing wasn't going anywhere. And if you tripped over it, you lost. You lost. The camera stand always won that battle. And making little micro adjustments on the camera stand was much easier than on this thing. Okay, there we go. Now we got it easy. And now is about the time that Don trips over the tripod. You watch. All right, so the cake looks pretty good. If I put a light from the back, it's probably going to light that surface. Let's find out. I've got this thing turned way, way down. It's turned way down, so just a little peep of light. Let's see what happens. Okay, before, after, yeah, that works. That works well. I'll be doing some cropping here, some retouching of the surface, but the cake looks nice. And you see how we brought that little bit of light back up in here? It's not a lot, it's just a little bit. I'll bring that surface down in post so it more resembles this shot than this shot. And then this shot, see how it puts that little light right there? Look how pretty that light goes against this darker background. If you can imagine a little bit darker background like that and then picking up that light right there. The rose doesn't seem to be terribly affected, but the green does. The green looks really good. See how it gets really muddy in here? We pull up the green right there and it looks much, much better.
So
Could you zoom in on the cake a little bit so we can see it a little better?
I can.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
So what
Why did
Just a
was,
little bit just to see the light better.
Why did it zoom in so much? Is that, it just seems,
it's your zoom
That's
setting,
because
you
it's
1 to 1
one to one.
where's the zoom settings?
Up.
above the navigator.
Yeah, exactly. Just above the navigator, there says 1 to 1, 3 to 1, and
To the
then
right,
there's
little,
an arrow beside that.
Oh, right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I got 1 to 16? What do I want, guys?
Try 1 to 4. Is that too much?
There we go.
That's good, yeah. So what was it again, Don, that you did that lit up the right side?
I have, let me switch back to me. I'm going to move the computer now so you can see this thing. I have, right back there, you see the little softbox? It's a little softbox with a speed light in it, turned down to 1/32.
That beauty dish?
Well, when you put a sock on it, it's a softbox. But yeah,
Oh.
it started life as a beauty dish, yeah. And then we put a sock over the front of it. That's a softbox. It's no longer a beauty dish. Let's go back to the Screen sharing here. All right, so I've touched that, it goes back there. Good, good, good. That's good. So the question is, do I need another little fill card up front, or am I okay without it? Let's see what happens if I just hold one in like this. Picking up a little bit from the main light there. Yeah, this might be too much. Try another one a little higher. Yeah, that's Canon. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so this is the one with the backlight. This is the one we added that little fill more towards the front. Now for me, for a commercial chocolate cake, I like that one better. Here's what I did. I'll go back to stop sharing here so you can see what I did. I held this guy right here to put a little bit more of this light soft. This is not a very shiny card. I don't know if you can see it. It's a very textured card, so it's not going to give me a hard line down the side of the cake. It's going to be very, very soft. I put it in, again, I put it in right like that. Right up to the lens, and I pulled it back and made the shot. So let's do that, because I'm liking that little bit lighter front to the cake better than the dark one. And I'll just put this up like this. Make sure it's not in the picture here. And there it's in the picture, and I pull it out. See how smooth is it out? Right in here. Still have a shadow, still making it round, but it's just a little bit cooler. All right, I'm going to go with that shot. We'll go in and Photoshop it here in a minute. Guys, give me just a second. I'll run and get the eclairs. And try a different angle.
Did you bring enough to share?
I bought these, brought them home and froze them because the chocolate frosting, of course now I wonder if this is going to be a problem to open. The chocolate frosting on these things is so soft, so delicate that they will get destroyed very quickly. So I stuck them in the freezer. I'll see if I can get them out without breaking them. I'm going to backlight these, so I'm going to be shooting from the side over here.
We can't see you.
I know, I'm just going to put these over
Okay.
here.
Don, while you're doing that, if this is for a client, would you have a gray card, just because I can see you're shooting with the white balance of cloudy?
Yeah, it just warms up my shot a little bit. And it,
Okay.
and it doesn't make any difference because I go back into Lightroom, I can change it to anything.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering if you do put a gray card or something in there.
It only depends. It really only depends if the client needs that level of perfection.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, it's perceptual. Does it look nice
Yeah, exactly.
rather than is it perfect. Okay, I'm going to go over here. Here are the eclairs. And they're on these little white napkin things, and I don't like them on the napkin things at all. So I'll remove them. I'm going to have to turn this one around. Yeah, we got a little, even frozen. There it is right there. Even, tasty. Now let's bring the camera. I'm going to hand hold the camera for this shot. Only I would never hand hold the camera for anything other than for this thing for expedience, folks. I move this tripod and everything in this tiny little space that I have. And I just unplugged my tether. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Let's see. Okay. Let's bump over to, oh, Lightroom got it. All right. Need to turn this thing. Yeah. See, that card is giving us that. We're getting a very hot reflection on that shiny surface, and we're
We
getting.
can't see it yet.
You can't see it?
We can't see Lightroom.
No, you're not tethered.
Dang it, I thought. Sorry, here we go.
Ah.
So that backlight pulls up every crevice in here, every part of the design. Dare I move that cherry? Oh boy. I may have to move the whole thing.
Don, just turn it around instead.
That's what I think I'm going to do, Tammy.
Yeah, because that cherry is probably frozen to that. And then send the eclairs. Oh, I guess you can't send them to Denmark, can you?
Oh, but if I could, I would, Tammy. All right. Let's try this again. So horizontal. And a vertical.
So would hand holding your camera be something you do as another part of sketching the visual effect?
I would absolutely. If I'm sketching, I'm hand holding. Absolutely correct. I'm going to have to do it again because, of course, when I had to turn the camera off, I lost it. Lost the connection. But the camera, all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys have experienced the Canon freeze.
I just know that Lightroom's really buggy when you try to tether. You should try Capture One. It's excellent for tethering. And you have live view and everything.
Don't curse my Canon camera. I don't have that problem.
Well, that and they have a app for like iPads or whatever where you can also drive the Capture One stuff from an iPad, so you can walk around without having to keep running over to the computer.
Isn't Capture One just
Exactly.
Apple?
All right, what was that? Who was talking? Well, Tammy was talking.
I was curious. Isn't Capture One just for Apple, or is that PC?
No, that runs on PC.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've been using it since version 3, only on PC. So
I just started using Capture One. I'm really, really liking it.
Cool.
Plus, I just had a shoot with a lot of people, and they can sit and look at the iPad and choose which pictures they like as I'm shooting the next person. I think that's really cool.
Well,
and I actually know someone who does the Apple Interconnect to another computer with a huge monitor on it. So they've got their capture station, they have the iPad, and then they have this huge display from the iPad that is on the other side so people can see it.
Yeah, it works really, really well. I'm really liking. I mean, I'm so used to Lightroom, and it was difficult trying to give up, but I'm starting to give it up now because it's faster, I think, Capture One, and less buggy.
well,
Is that
it's
just
now,
for
it's now not letting my Canon focus. Man, oh man, gets old after a while. Canon really gets old after a while. Put it on manual focus. Do it that way.
So does Capture One allow you to do editing like Lightroom does? It's a kind of replacement for Lightroom?
Oh, absolutely. It's something. There's something called Color Editor that's just amazing, and you can do curves adjustments where they have a luma curve. That means you just adjust the light and the darkness, and you don't affect the color.
Nope.
There's different. Oh, sorry.
Nope. Canon and Lightroom decided they're not even going to let it take a picture now.
Probably Lightroom, probably not Canon. I've had problems with especially if I'm using a flash trigger. Lightroom doesn't like it.
It's really crazy though, is it doesn't have any problem with it for 30 shots and then it does. That's what I hate. Let me get this down here.
So yes, Stephen, the Capture One is, I guess you could say, It's the same thing. It's a darkroom kind of thing, just like Lightroom is. Lightroom is just for adjustment. It's not pixel adjusting. There is a spot removal thing, but I don't use that. So but you can have so much control over color and everything in Capture One. I'm really, really, really liking it. But there is a learning curve, especially if you're really used to Lightroom.
Well, honestly, there's not only a learning curve, it's a terrible interface.
Yeah, I think so.
Terrible, terrible interface.
But you can build it the way you want to, though.
Over the years that they have not taken the time to make that interface better.
What I like about Capture One is you can modify the interface the way you want. So the menus running down the left side, you can remove things, you can put things in, you can build up your own interface. Actually, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's. Let's put it this way: it's a much, much more professional system than Lightroom. And
I don't know about that. It's just different.
Oh well, if you look at the controls you have on the on Capture One versus Lightroom, plus if you've ever taken the same image and processed it out, you'll see.
Yeah, I tried. Oh yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like I can get sharper. I mean, I can bring out. I thought I was doing really well with Lightroom, bringing out shadows, details and shadows, but Capture One just went beyond that. I don't know if that's just me trying to convince myself?
No,
or?
no, it's better. It has a much better dynamic range, dynamic controls, better color controls. It's why if you're shooting with any ad agency in New York or California, you're definitely going to be shooting on Capture One. That's,
Hey, you know where the headquarters for Capture One is, by the way?
I have no idea.
Copenhagen.
Is that right?
It's Danish. Phase One is a Danish company. Ain't that cool?
Well,
I think I'm going to look for a job there.
I don't think Phase One started Capture One. They may have. I think they bought it.
It might have, but it's run from Copenhagen now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I'm going to go back to our shot here that we liked, which was that one. And I'm not going to do a whole lot to this except crop it. Let's get over in the develop module. It's a little crop up from the bottom here.
Don, we're seeing you.
I'm sorry. So you saw me walking through the house then, huh?
Yeah, but you're so pretty.
I was not aware I was on camera. All right, there we go. So I got my knobs. Those are kind of cool down here. I'm going to take this little brush right here. Kind of brush it back there. Get that cake to stand out a little bit there. I'll do the same thing over here.
Don, would you ever take like oil or something to put a sheen on the cake?
Not on a cake like this, because I think on a cake like this, we would actually change the cake. You know, I mean, we would really kind of change it up, and I don't think I want to change this cake up, if you know what I mean. That would, the moment I hit it with oil, we're going to see the edge of that plexi. It's going to be so glossy, we'll see the edge of it. And with the cake having a little bit of tooth to it now, we have this beautiful little, you know, gradient right through here. I might open that gradient up just a little bit more. And then anything down there, no, I'm going to do all the rest of it in Photoshop. So I'm going to say Control, Edit in Photoshop. And I don't really mind editing on this 13-inch laptop. I really don't. Let's put it this way, I didn't, but it's getting really slow. I think I'm going to have to take it in and get one of those SSD drives. Solid state guys. What's that?
Yeah, that really helps having SSD. But if you close down the thing, what's it called down below, where the images looks like a roll, and I usually close out all of the two sidebars. The left sidebar and the bottom sidebar gives me more real estate to edit, especially on the little screen.
What I'm saying is, does this? It is so damn slow now. I mean, it's maxed out in RAM, good RAM. It's got a good hard drive in it and everything, brand new hard drive, but it's not an SSD. But it still gives me the spinning beach ball all the time. And I know, Apple is, you know, we've had some interesting update challenges, but it just angers me really how slow the thing has become.
Have you upgraded to High Sierra yet?
No, ma'am. I will not be doing
No, I haven't either. I was just going to. Okay.
No, I know I will not be doing that. Burn me once,
Me
you know, my fault, or their fault. Burn me twice, my fault. I learned we don't do that. Well, we'll just have to see how this works. Does that work? Oh, it does. Look at that. Really good at this stuff. I'm not going to bore you guys with doing all this. I'll do it later. But a couple of things that I do want to show you that I do here is I want to get in here and pick up a little bit of this green here by creating a new layer. Those of you who know me know what I'm going to do here, I'm sure. Grab a brush, white, opacity 11%, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just touch the highlights on these roses here, just the highlights, pop the highlight a little bit more than it was. There we go. Bring a little pop to that.
Are you actually editing in?
Don,
right
we
now?
need to see the eclairs. We've got cake.
Yes, that's what I'm
We're
doing.
looking at Lightroom.
Yes, that's what I'm. Oh, you're looking at Lightroom.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
you shared the Photoshop app,
Photoshop. Sorry.
All right.
which is weird because you can see the cursor.
Yeah, the cursor is
on top of
separate. So what I was doing here, I've got a new layer at overlay, and I'm taking white over here, white, and I'm just touching in these highlights, just punching them in a little bit, just a little bit at a time, at 11% on a layer that's on overlay. I'm doing that. Okay, what I was marveling at earlier was just how well this guy does on stuff like, oops, let's put it on the right layer there, on stuff like this. That's pretty amazing, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, the healing.
Yeah,
The
I'm
healing
just gonna
is very
try.
cool.
I'm just gonna try this. Arms, fingers crossed, dude.
Oh, it does a really good job sometimes.
Love it sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes you can't get it to work to save your life. But for this,
Yeah.
I guess that the grain is good enough as picking it up. What I was going to say was I wasn't going to bore you guys with too much of this. I'll deal with this here as we.
Darcy, get back.
That's like telling a golf fan that I'm not going to bore you by making you watch. This is what we do.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, spotting pictures is like less than. Ooh, I got an idea.
Dust.
I got an idea.
Somebody's doing their dishes in the background. They need to close down their microphone.
I don't have a good non-stick pan.
Somebody's working on something. We can hear you.
Sounds like dishes or something.
All right. I'm gonna put a little, just for the heck of it, I'm gonna put a little feather on this. Yeah, pick it up. Oh my. Let's see.
I'd be doing curves on that.
Yeah, curves and levels, they do the same thing, just approach it differently.
Yeah. Well, I love using curves, and then using the picker thing to choose where I want it.
Curves is such a big. That looks pretty good. That looks
Nice.
pretty darn good. Now we'll do this. I'm going to duplicate it. Turn off the top one. Take this one, lock it. Unlock it. Let's see.
Don, what was the idea of locking it?
What's that?
What was the idea of locking it?
When I locked it, the layer, when I filled it with yellow, it only filled the thing that was there. If you don't lock it, it fills the whole layer with yellow.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're going to make it light up, aren't you? You're going to make it glow.
It's a little bit too much on the glow. I can take the opacity down and get kind of the feeling. I'll put these guys away. Kind of the feeling of it. Well, that sure looks a lot better than that.
Very cool.
Yeah. Now those buttons down at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing, by the way, I did with this. Actually, I'm going to just do a new layer here. Go to overlay. Bring this up. Go to my brush. Turn to black and white. White. Oh, 11%. I'm just going to pop these highlights. I know it doesn't look like we're doing much. But we are. What did we do? That.
I love those subtle changes.
The little subtleties really bring it up. Take these little highlights right in here too. Right up here. Right in there. Maybe that little highlight there, just pull it out a little bit more. Maybe pull this one out down here just a little bit. Give a little bit of gradation on this thing so it doesn't look so flat down there. I can make another layer, same thing, overlay. And then using black, I can very gently pull this stuff back together. There we go. So there's where we started. And that's where we ended up there.
Wow.
So not bad. Not bad. Let's pull up the
do that comparison again.
What's that?
Do that comparison again.
Okay. That's where we started. Out of Lightroom, where we started. And this is where we end up here. And when I'm done, of course, I'll get all this cleared up here.
That's so cool.
Yeah. We'll just do it in one big
And
thing.
the dust spots, right?
Yeah, you always go, hey, what if I just make it small and just grab it all over the thing? That should work, right? No, they don't do that. Got to get in there a little bit tighter. All right, let's open up the eclairs real quick. Got a little bit of time. Just that. All I got is the one shot of the eclairs here. Very first one I did, but I'm okay with this. I can do something with it. I just don't like those cherries. But I can show you
Photoshop.
the techniques that I would use on this. I think with the last shot I got with the cherries was pretty good. I'm going to move this right up into that shadow. Just
We're still seeing
We
the
can't see
Photoshop
what you're
screen.
doing.
Oh, sorry. Man, it'd be nice if they just, whatever the active screen was. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's
No.
too easy for them to.
Well, look, compared to what GoToWebinar had for $100 a month,
Oh, wow.
you guys are $14 a month. I mean, I'm not complaining. Not yet. I will later because it's in my nature. It's just the kind of guy I am. So what are we going to do in here?
When you look at this image, are you concerned about seeing the fact that the cherry looks like it's frozen and making it not look frozen? You don't want this to look like a frozen eclair right now, do you?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, we just ran out of, the camera wouldn't work anymore. What you do is you take a Q-tip with water and you just wipe down the cherry. We just didn't get that far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But what I would do in here is pretty much done. I don't think I'm going to do much in Lightroom at all. I might grab this little shadow here and right around there. Pull this one in here and there. Boy, that really pulls it up, huh? Yeah, except it's way too bright. So we're going to drag this exposure down just about there. Just a little bit. Pick up the end of this. We're going to say done. We're going to move it over to Photoshop real quick. Edit in Photoshop. And share show Photoshop. So now we're in Photoshop. I use that same method, by the way, on a lot of things, overlay or soft. You can use soft light. You should try both. They both are very similar. I'm going to take that brush, make it very large. So I'm going to drag it across that corner once, twice, 3 times, one more time. And there we got a little bit of a vignette in that corner. Matches this corner just a little bit better. I'm going to change to white, and I'm going to pull up those. When you hit this area, you'll see the highlight gains more brightness than the midtone. You got to hit the midtone 3 times before it starts to move up, but if you hit it only 1 time, you're really going to brighten up the highlight and not really affect the midtone. Because we're going to take this cherry and give it some light from the back. So we have that little feeling that light's coming through, right? Even when they're frozen. And well, that's about it on that. So is James Kern here? No. James was asking about the plexi as well. So before we leave, and we still have time, all you have to do to ask a question is hit your microphone thing, and I'll take your question. Happy to take any question you have. Was this? I need to know. Was this worthwhile for you guys to do this?
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to do it again. I want to do it often, actually, at least once or twice a month, with different subjects. And I just was informed yesterday that Zoom will handle external cameras, which will make me a whole lot happier than having to use this very tight camera here. I can actually use like a sport camera if we want to get the whole thing. And it'll take two external cameras, that's pretty awesome. So I got to have a tight camera and a wide camera, and then for microphone I can use a lapel mic. So it's pretty advanced stuff. I'm pretty excited about it. I didn't have a chance to try the other camera. So,
Don, it was pretty good to see that you're operating in a really tight space too. So for those that don't have studios.
yeah, well, when I first did Creative Live, I caught a lot of flack for it initially on the boards. People were like, "Oh my gosh, he's using a Rebel." And the reason I went with a Rebel was it was a lighting class. And I didn't want anybody to think that they had to go out and buy a 5D Mark II to have good lighting. And I did it on a Rebel, I think it was a T3i or T4. I mean, it was just a Rebel, just an entry-level camera. But it was, a good experience. About halfway through the first day, people were going, wow, if he can do that with a Rebel. The point was, yeah, you can do it with a Rebel. You can do it with anything. If you think about the light, it's a pretty cool thing. As far as my little setup in there, it's quite cramped. I don't know if you guys saw that there's a motorcycle in there, a set of drums. It's got it pretty much full. But I've got a way to make a little bit more room as I go forward, but I wanted to get in there. Yeah, you can do this in a kitchen. It's just, you know what it is? It's more of a hassle. Who asked the question? Who was it asked the question?
It was Matt, Don.
Yeah, it's a bit more of a hassle, Matt. That's it. You can do it pretty much anywhere. You're just going to find yourself squeezing through stands or you're back up against the wall kind of thing. No, you don't need a big studio space to do this kind of work. Mm-mm. To shoot my motorcycle, we couldn't shoot the motorcycle in that space. We could shoot sections of the motorcycle, but there's just not enough room to get the lights where they would have to be to light the motorcycle without them being in the shot. So, but sections, yeah, we can shoot the front wheel or something like that. Could I shoot portraits in there? I could probably do headshots in there, but full-length portraits, for me, I have to shoot a full-length portrait at least 85 millimeters. I won't shoot them at 50 and I won't shoot them at 35 millimeters just because I don't have any room, because I don't want to look down on the top of their shoes and up at their forehead, because that's what you start doing that.
What size lens was that you were using? What focal length?
That actually was the lens I ended up with was my good old 24 to 105. And I was right about 60.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my workhorse actually for product stuff.
24 105?
Yep.
I love that lens. I rented it for a week and then that was it. I had to have one. I bought
it refurbed.
The 24 to 70 is a fantastic lens. It's a beautiful lens. It's a sharp lens, but I can count on no fingers how many times I ever reached for a 70. So I got a 24, a 35, a 50. The 70, it's not long enough to do me any good. The 105, even though it's an f4 lens, the 105 gives me beautiful headshots with very soft depth of field. I'm not worried about f4 for depth of field for that. Plus, that 24 to 105 is about 1/3 the weight of the 24 to 70. So I've got the length and the width that I need. When I go up to Zion and places like that, my kit, I've got a nice kit, but I would say the 24 to 105 is probably on the camera 75% of the time. Gives me everything I need.
Yeah, I get a lot of crap for having that on my 6D all the time.
Your 6D?
Yeah, my 6 Delta like yours.
Yeah.
That's where it lives. I never take it off.
No, it's a great pairing, actually. It's a great pairing. It's an L lens, so it's a killer lens. Anybody else? All right, fantastic. I'll get this video up as soon as I can, and it'll be over on the page there at Lighting Essentials. And I certainly appreciate you guys coming out. And I am going to go and have a quick little lunch before I start my next one. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, Don.
Hi, thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Don.
Thanks, bye.
Thanks.